Meet Savorista. They have premium craft decaf and half-calf coffee with bold, rich flavor. Made from high-altitude, hand-picked Arabica beans and naturally decaffeinated with water or sugarcane processes, and there's no harsh chemicals.
But if you think chocolate, caramel, citrus, even bourbon pecan and mint and mocha, it's small batch roasted, literally so good, customers call it the best decaf they've ever tried.
Better sleep, less anxiety, all the flavor. Use our code INFOGO to get 25% off at checkout at savorista.com. You can also find that link in the show notes. Hey, William, do you love craft beer?
Yes, I do.
If you're looking for the perfect gift for a beer lover or just want to show off your brewery pride, the Harpoon Shop has something you won't find anywhere else.
And here's something special just for our listeners. You can save 25% off just by using our code INFOGO at checkout. You can find that link in the show notes. Hey, welcome to the podcast. I'm William.
And I'm Kat.
And that makes this Info on the Go.
Feeding your curiosity with every show.
Sure, absolutely. I'm curious. Do you have a cell phone, a smartphone?
I sure do.
Do you have any social media apps? Sure you do. You have Facebook because we're on Info on the Go, right?
Exactly.
But have you ever stopped to wonder how those ads pop up that are tailored just for you?
Is that the algorithm?
Yes. But we're going to get into a lot of that. But the digital footprint, we're really going to talk about how the future's watching. So picture this. You wake up one morning and check your phone, like most people do. They do it every morning, right?
Mostly. Usually it's their alarm, so they have to touch it the first thing in the morning.
It's crazy how we went from alarm clocks to everything just being on your phone.
Everything.
We got to do the history of the telephone for sure.
Yes.
But today there's a notification that you really weren't expecting. It's from your new AI assistant, and it's making suggestions about your life, what career path you should take, which city you should move to, even who you might meet or date in the coming months. And somehow it knows all of this because the digital trail you've been leaving behind, often without ever realizing it. And isn't that creepy?
Every click you make, every article you read, every social media you like, and every search on the web is like a breadcrumb. And together they form a trail, a digital footprint that companies, governments, and even sophisticated AI systems can follow. Your behavior online is no longer just private actions, it's a map that others can read, analyze, and even predict from.
Yeah, I mean, and those breadcrumbs, they're unlike the Hansel and Gretel story, they're staying.
For sure, forever.
Think about it. The cute cat video that you watched last night, or the cute dog video, which if you're a dog or a Furby person, or the political article you skim through. Well, the late night online shopping spree, all of these tiny things, these meaningless moments, all of that is building a profile of you, a profile that could shape opportunities, offers, or decisions you encounter in the future.
So here's the question we're exploring today. How much of your future is already written in your digital past? How much power do you really have over the story of your own life when every online move is being tracked, recorded, and even analyzed?
I think in this episode we're gonna do our best to dive deep into the world of digital tracking and how it really works and who is really watching you and what it could mean for you years down the road. And hopefully by the end of it, you might start looking at your smartphone and your apps and even your browser history in a completely new light.
Now that we've imagined an AI that can predict your future, let's step back and see how it actually knows so much about you, right? The truth is, tracking doesn't really require magic. It's built into almost everything we do online.
Wait a minute, there's no magic involved?
No magic involved.
I have been sold a false bill of goods.
Me too?
I thought there was hamsters and stuff like in a wheel spinning.
Oh, geez, that's where Pinky and the Brain comes from.
I guess, are you Brain or I'm Pinky? I guess I can be Pinky. It doesn't really matter. So what are we going to do today, Brain?
The same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
One podcast at a time. All right.
Anyway,
Yeah. So let's start with those cookies. We're not talking about the kind of cookies you eat, but we're talking about the tiny files websites drop into your browser. They remember your visits, the products you looked at, the articles you read, how long you hovered over an image. And when you move to another website, well, some of those cookies, they follow you there too. And they start creating a detailed map of your browsing habits. Even that harmless online shopping spree isn't really private. Every click is being recorded, helping companies predict, well, what you might buy next.
then there's tracking pixels, invisible images embedded in websites or emails. You don't see them, but they're quietly sending data back to servers every time you open a page or message. It's like someone watching your every move through a hidden camera without ever stepping into the room.
But wait, there's more. You like that?
Hmm.
All right. Even if you clear cookies, companies can still identify you through device fingerprinting because every computer, phone, or tablet has a unique combination of software, fonts, browser plugins, and settings. When combined, these tiny details, they can single you out across websites, basically creating a digital fingerprint per se that says, "Hey, it's you and you're thinking about being anonymous." I know when you click on most websites, they ask, do you accept cookies or all cookies? And if you, some of them won't even let you browse or shop if you don't accept all the cookies, which is kind of alarming.
Then there's location tracking, if all that wasn't alarming enough. Yeah, every smartphone, smartwatch, or connected device carries GPS, Wi Fi, and IP based location data. Apps can follow your movements in real life as easily as they track your online clicks. So, that morning jog, that lunch at a new cafe, even your commute home, it's all part of the digital record.
Wow. And speaking of devices, don't forget about app permissions and smart technology because your phone, your smartwatch, your smart speaker, they're all listening all the time and watching or sensing more than you really realize that they're doing. Even that innocent weather app or that whatever app you have, it might know your location and how often you move and when you're at home.
And finally, there's social media monitoring. Every like, share, comment, or story builds a profile of your personality, interests, and social network. Metadata, the invisible info behind your posts, tells platforms what devices you're using, when you're active, and who you interact with. Combine all these signals, and social media can predict not just what you like, but what you might do next, or even how you might feel on any given day. Altogether, these tools create a digital footprint that's far bigger and more revealing than most people ever even imagine. It's all about making money off of you.
Yeah, every last bit of it is about making money. So now that we know how your digital footprint is being collected, let's kind of dive into what Kat was talking about profit, how they're making money off of you. Social media platforms, they aren't free because, well, you're the product, right? Think about that. They're free because you're the product. Every post you like, every video you watch, every scroll through your feed is data that can be analyzed, packaged, and sold. Your attention, your habits, and even your emotions. They're all part of a multi billion-dollar economy designed to keep you scrolling.
Now, take the algorithm, for example. It's not just suggesting cat videos or memes at random, it's constantly asking what will make you stay longer? What will make you click the next link? Every choice you make, what you watch, pause on, or scroll past, is tracked, measured, and fed back into a system designed to maximize engagement. That's why the more you interact, the more the algorithm learns about your likes, dislikes, fears, and desires.
Then there's targeted advertising. Have you ever noticed, and I hinted to it at the beginning, have you ever noticed an ad for a product you were just thinking about or even talking about? That's no coincidence. Companies buy access to the data collected from your activity, likes, shares, search history, and even how long you pause on a post. It uses it all to predict what you're likely to buy. In some cases, ads appear before you even know you want something. So your digital footprint is literally guiding your future spending.
Now, here's what gets even more interesting and a little alarming. The same algorithms that track you for profit also determine the flow of information you see. Research shows that misinformation spreads faster than the truth on social media. Why? Because sensational, emotional, or shocking content grabs attention immediately, triggering likes, shares, and comments. Engagement is the currency, and the platforms reward what keeps you scrolling, not what's accurate.
Yellow journalism.
Yay.
But it's not journalism. It's just, I don't know what you would call that. But remember, we did that episode and it was about sensationalizing to get that shock and awe factor.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, misinformation spreads a lot faster than the truth because it's more engaging. It's more, hey, that shock and awe.
Hmm.
Anyway, so and that's all alarming. It's just so alarming. So think about it. A viral conspiracy theory or a misleading news post, well, it might reach thousands of people in hours, while carefully researched information barely makes a ripple. And because social media platforms know your interest, your political learnings, and your behavior patterns, they feed these viral stories directly to you, keeping you in, well, the echo chambers where your existing beliefs are consistently reinforced. Your clicks, pauses, and shares aren't just signals, they're tools that shape what you see, what you believe, and sometimes even what you do.
Here's a scenario that makes it more concrete, right? Imagine scrolling through Instagram at 9 p.m. You watch a few cooking videos, double tap a couple of food posts, and share a funny meme about travel. By morning, your feed is full of travel deals, cooking gadgets, and depending on your previous engagement, clickbait headlines, political posts, or viral health claims. The platform isn't just guessing. It knows about your habits to predict exactly what will capture your attention next. And every click you make feeds the system even more.
So this is the profit and influence loop. Your attention drives engagement, engagement drives, well, data. Data is sold to, well, advertisers, and advertisers pay platforms to influence you even further. At the same time, the content you see, including misinformation, is amplified. It's subtly shaping your perception, beliefs, and behavior. But I think let's kind of explore the employers, governments, and even hackers because they're all watching, analyzing, and acting on the same information, sometimes in ways you would never expect.
Now let's move away from theory for a moment and look at a real story. One of the most famous examples of how digital footprints can be used not just to sell products, but to influence entire societies is in 2018, a political consulting firm called Cambridge Analytica, which became the center of a global scandal. What they were doing shocked millions of people, not because it involved hacking into secret government systems, but because it involved something much more ordinary. They were using social media data.
They intentionally obtained personal information from tens of millions of users on Facebook, and they didn't always have clear consent. And they used it to build psychological profiles of voters. Think about that for just one moment. Psychological profiles of voters, not just demographics like age or location, not just interests like sports or travel.
Right. They were attempting to measure personality traits, things like fearfulness, openness to new ideas, emotional stability, and political leanings. Using advanced data analytics and behavioral science models, they categorized people into psychological groups. Then they targeted those groups with highly personalized political messages. Now, that wasn't traditional advertising, that was micro targeted persuasion.
And think about that. That could still happen very easily today. So imagine two neighbors living on the same street. One might receive political ads emphasizing immigration fears. Another one might see messages about economic opportunity. Each person would believe they were seeing a general campaign message. But in reality, the content was really tailored. to them directly to trigger their emotional responses. And the goal wasn't just to inform voters, it was to influence behavior, to shape opinions.
It was to increase anger, fear, or motivation, depending on what the data suggested would be most effective. And this strategy wasn't theoretical. Investigations revealed that data from as many as 87 million users may have been accessed and used to build these predictive models. Suddenly, the idea that your likes, shares, and online quizzes were harmless began to feel very different.
Yeah, people started to realize that something as simple as clicking on a personality test or liking a political meme, well, it could contribute to this profile powerful enough to influence elections. Here's what made this story even more unsettling. Many users had never directly given permission. In some cases, data was gathered through apps that also collected information about users' friends, meaning your digital footprint could be expanded and analyzed because of someone else's reactions.
The scandal triggered global investigations, congressional hearings in the United States, and widespread debates about privacy, consent, and the power of tech companies. It also revealed something deeper about the future of digital footprints. Data isn't just about what you buy, it's about who you are, your fears, your hopes, your habits, and your weaknesses.
And when the data is combined with artificial intelligence, AI, behavioral psychology, and massive computing power, it becomes a tool that can shape not only consumer behavior, but public opinion, democratic processes, and social stability. Today, most major platforms have, well, they've reintroduced stronger privacy controls and transparency measures, but the fundamental system, it hasn't went anywhere. It is still there.
The business model remains the same: collect data, analyze behavior, and predict decisions. And the scale continues to grow. Globally, the number of major data breaches reported each year has reached into the thousands, exposing billions of personal records, from passwords and financial details to medical histories and location data.
Meanwhile, research suggests that up to 70% of employers now review social media profiles during hiring decisions, meaning your digital footprint can influence your professional future long before you ever step into that interview. And at the same time, the market for predictive analytics, the system is designed to forecast human behavior. It's expanding rapidly, projected to reach hundreds of billions of dollars in value within the next decade. So, in other words, your digital footprint isn't just being stored.
It's being monetized, weaponized, and increasingly automated. The story of Cambridge Analytica wasn't just a scandal. It was a warning, a glimpse into a world where data about your past can be used to shape your future, sometimes without your awareness and often without your control.
Yeah, I say before we get into who's really watching beyond social media, I think we should take a small break. But before we do that, just a PSA here. If you're looking at something on social media and it's news, verify. Do multiple research on it. Don't make a decision in the moment because, again, sensationalized, targeted, information, no matter
Yeah, I
what.
mean, and most of it's false. Like you can spot a lot of the false posts from a mile away because they use elaborate wording and it reads more like a short story than an actual news headline.
Well, not only that, nowadays you have AI imaging that
Oh, that
can.
too. Yeah, they come with the AI doctored images.
And I would highly recommend if you see an image that sparks something, put it in Google Reverse and reverse the image and find out where it came from. We could post a anything of us in the background and say, "Hey, we're here," but if you do the reverse imaging, it'll tell you, "Hey, this was taken off of whatever website and copied." But anyway, I say before we get into who's watching beyond social media, let's take a small break. What do you think?
Sounds good.
I've got to clear some cookies.
I think I might eat some cookies.
We'll be right back. So who's
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, listen up. All of my workforce friends out there, whether you're ranchers, farmers, or you just need a pair of good leather gloves, look no further than Bare Knuckles. The best leather gloves ever made. featuring a patent design crafted for natural curve of the fingers. These gloves deliver a perfect fit, superior protection, and all-day comfort. Made from premium leather, right now get an exclusive 15% off, and you can find that at buybareknuckles.com, but make sure you use our code INFOGO at checkout. You can find that link in the show notes. Upgrade your hands, and remember, every purchase, well, it supports the show, so thank you.
If you love unforgettable treats, you've got to try Molly B's Gourmet Cookies. These aren't your average cookies. Molly B's brings bold, artisan crafted cookies straight to your pantry. We're talking chocolate, cherry, and amaretto and be cordial. Earl Grey, lavender, white chocolate, and lemon glaze in the tea. Even maple, bacon, whiskey, and white chocolate in the Boss Man. Founded by a single mom from Alaska, Molly Bees has become a national sensation. You get 10% off any product using our code INFOGO at mollybees.com. Find the link in the show notes.
Watching beyond social media. So far, we've looked at how your online behavior, well, it kind of feeds those algorithms, advertisers, and social media profits from your clicks. But social media isn't the only place where your digital footprint matters. In fact, there are other players watching you, and sometimes the stakes are even higher.
Now, first, there are employers and recruiters. The Instagram post you thought was harmless, the late night tweet you deleted, or even your LinkedIn activity, everything can be analyzed. Companies increasingly scan social media, blogs, and public forums to understand your personality, work habits, and even potential risks before they make hiring decisions. So, your digital footprint can sometimes speak louder than a resume.
Then there's government surveillance. In some countries, governments monitor online activity for security, law enforcement, or social control. Social control mainly. Even countries with stronger privacy protections. Aggregated data can be used for predictive policing, immigration checks, or tax audits. And your online behavior is no longer just personal. It can be interpreted, scored, and acted upon in ways you might not never see or even know about.
And let's not forget about the dark side of the internet. Hackers and cybercriminals, identity theft, phishing scams, and even ransomware attacks often rely on the very data you leave online. And I believe we did a scam. We did a scam episode
Yeah.
where we talked about identity theft and phishing scams.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. That's a good one. You should really go check that one out.
You know, that cute profile picture or check in at your favorite cafe, it can be combined with other publicly available info to compromise your accounts, steal your identity, or target you with sophisticated scams.
Even seemingly mundane online activity contributes to a tailored portrait of you and who you are, what you like, and how you behave. And here's the chilling part, the most chilling part of all. Most of this happens without your consent. And once the data is out there, it can be incredibly hard to control. Basically, once the genie's out of the bottle, it's done.
So while social media companies are using your data to keep you engaged and making money, a much broader ecosystem is watching, analyzing, and sometimes acting on the same information. Both commercial and governmental can have long term consequences that reach far beyond the digital world.
So now we know who's watching. But what does all this mean for you in the long run? And the truth is, your digital footprint isn't just a collection of harmless clicks. It carries real world consequences that can last for years, maybe even decades, or follow you forever.
Because the internet is forever.
So let's start with the financial risk. Did you know that some companies and even insurers can use your online behavior to gauge your, well, credit worthiness or risk profile? So that late night online shopping spree, the websites you browse, or even the apps you use, they can all influence decisions you might assume are harmless. And if your data gets breached, which happens far more often than most people really realize, hackers can steal your identity, drain your accounts, or commit fraud in your name.
Then there's the professional impact. A single old social media post can resurface during a job application, shaping how employers see you. Even if you delete content, screenshots and cached versions can live forever. Your digital footprint can quietly influence your career path, promotions, or even opportunities you never imagined.
Now let's talk about behavioral manipulation, because this is another hidden risk. The algorithms that track you aren't neutral. They subtly guide your decisions. Ad recommendations, personalized feeds can reinforce your habits, opinions, and even political beliefs. And over time, this can narrow the range of ideas you see, creating these echo chambers that make it harder to notice alternative perspectives.
And finally, there's the broader loss of privacy and autonomy. Every digital action contributes to a long term record of who you are. As AI and predictive systems grow smarter, they could start making judgments about you before you even made a decision. From personalized pricing to credit eligibility to medical recommendations, your digital past could shape your future, sometimes in ways you never explicitly agreed to.
Just to kind of summarize all that, your online activity isn't just a fleeting moment. It's part of a permanent, evolving profile that companies, governments, and algorithms can use to make decisions about you. And the more we rely on digital tools, the more powerful and persistent that footprint becomes.
Up until now, we've talked about tracking, social media profit, and the risks of your digital footprint. But here's where things get really futuristic and a little more unsettling. AI isn't just observing your online behavior anymore, it's analyzing it, learning from it, and predicting your next moves.
So imagine this. An AI system reviews years of your browsing history, social media posts, purchases, and location data. From that, it can predict not just what you might buy next, but where you might move, who you're likely to meet, even what health risk you could face. Essentially, your digital past becomes a predictive model of your future. First of all, if it's using it to help you analyze health risk, that might not be a bad thing.
Right.
But I guess it really just depends on how they're using it to do that, right?
hmm some of this is already happening. Governments in some countries are experimenting with predictive policing, where AI algorithms flag individuals as high risk for crime based on behavior patterns. Insurance companies use AI to assess risk based on online activity. Even your social media feed is constantly being shaped by AI, predicting what will keep you engaged, emotionally reacting, and clicking.
Then there's that concept of digital reputation scoring. Systems like China's social credit model, they are early examples of how behavior, both online and offline, can be scored and influenced, you know, to access to opportunities, loans, travel, even employment. While the US and other countries don't have a centralized system like this yet, tech companies, they're experimenting with reputation metrics for users, advertisers, and partners because they want to sell a product.
And it's not just about you. Your footprint can affect others too. AI can analyze family connections, social networks, and online interactions to make predictions about you indirectly. That means your relatives or friends' online behavior could influence opportunities or decisions in your life.
Really, the key takeaway here is AI is turning your digital footprint from a passive record into an active predictor. Your past online activity is no longer just history, it's becoming a tool that shapes your future, sometimes in ways you might not even see or be able to control or even have no knowledge of.
Right. Ugh, this is so creepy. I feel dirty.
But I mean, we're going to tell our listeners how to protect themselves, right?
Yes, that is what we are diving into next. So far, we've painted a pretty intense picture, right? Your every click, scroll, like contributes to a detailed profile that advertisers, governments, AI systems, and hackers can analyze. But don't panic, okay? There are ways to take back some control of your digital life. So let's start with some digital hygiene.
Now you don't
S-
feel so dirty. You can clean up here.
Yes, sorry, I didn't mean to keep on trucking.
No, 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 no. No, you're fine. When you said digital hygiene, I was like, hey, you said you felt dirty. So, hey, this is time to clean up.
Yes.
You can go and
Dirty
take it.
mouth, clean it up with a whole bit.
No, clean it up with a digital scrub.
Yes, you need a digital Brillo pad. Okay, so you need strong passwords. Two-factor authentication are the first line of defense. Think of them as locks on the doors of your digital house. A password manager can help you create unique, unguessable passwords for every account. So a breach in one place doesn't compromise everything.
And I'm going to tell you, I use one, not going to name it, and I love it because it gives me some of the strongest pass, and then it locks them away for me. So even if it's hacked, the passwords aren't hacked. But I'm sure there's going to be some person that's going to tell me everything can be hacked, like my son, the
Yeah.
cybersecurity dude.
Mhm.
But next, there's privacy focused tools, browsers like Brave or Firefox, search engines like DuckDuckGo, and tracker blocking extensions can reduce how much of your activity is being tracked. VPNs, well, they can mask your location and encrypt your online traffic, making it harder for companies or hackers to map your movements.
Then there's mindful sharing, right? Every post, comment, or photo adds to your footprint. So before you share, ask yourself, could this come back to affect me in 5 years, 10 years? Sometimes the safest post is the one you never make public in the first place.
Let's don't forget about the data minimization. Evaluate the apps and services you use. Do you really need that flashlight app that keeps asking for your location, contacts, and microphone access? Well, reducing permissions is like turning off the lights in rooms you're not using. Less exposure means, well, fewer risk.
And here's a practical example. Okay, consider someone who's recently did a privacy makeover. They reviewed all their accounts, deleted unused apps, restricted permissions, and started using a password manager and tracker blocking tools. Now, within a few weeks, their digital footprint shrank dramatically, and they noticed fewer targeted ads, fewer spam messages, and even a sense of mental relief from feeling less observed.
That's not really perfection. There's no way to really erase your footprint completely. But every small step you take, well, it gives you more control. The more conscious you are about what you share and the more you protect your data, the harder it is for others to use it against you, whether for profit, influence, or intrusion. Just remember, be mindful of what you're doing.
Here's the big question. How much control do we really have over our own lives when algorithms, advertisers, and AI systems are constantly analyzing our choices before we've even made them?
I mean, that's a pretty big question. Could future AI know you better than you know yourself?
Maybe. I guess you guys better keep it unpredictable. Well, William, what did you think about this one?
I thought this one was extremely unique. This one actually came from my son, the cybersecurity guy. Because we got into this talking thing about sensationalized journalism and how, those news posts and stuff that you see on social media probably aren't true. And, how to research them. I'm not going to get into what it was about, but when we got to researching, he's like, then we started talking about the digital footprint and how profit, these companies were doing profit. And he's like, well, there's ways to protect, there are ways that you can protect yourself. So here we are.
I had seen a video about the algorithm and how it works probably a while ago. I mean, I've had Facebook since its inception. So I see a lot of videos and I've had to deal with a lot of spam. And for laughter and satire, I suppose, I actually got text messages today. Two different ones. It had the same picture in them, but it came from two different numbers because I blocked the first one. And so it sent me another one. I expect another one soon of a picture of me having a traffic violation in Fulton County here in Georgia. And I was like,
uh,
it doesn't even have my name on it. Like, what? Yeah, I
I,
don't believe none of this.
yeah, first of all, nobody's going to text you with any kind of law enforcement thing.
No, they're
No,
going to send you a letter in the mail
yeah,
and then just randomly pull you over because you have, some sort of warrant because you didn't even know you had a ticket.
yeah, absolutely. Or take you to jail because that's
Yeah, I mean,
happened.
yeah, you're just getting locked up and you're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Well, you
What
remember this
happened?
day like 6 months ago? You've
Oh,
been on the run. And what do you mean?
you got this speeding ticket like 2 years ago, and you telling me you forgot about it? Like, dude, 2 years ago, and but yeah, I get it. I love social media. I know we post on it for info on the go. Some of the apps and things now, there are protections in place where, you can say allow all cookies or let me pick and choose, but it doesn't matter because those little, what do
Lots
we
of
call?
cookies are following you anyway.
Yeah, lots of cookies are they're diving in there. They're following you around. So, yeah, your digital footprint, the future's watching.
You're not getting ghosted at all.
And if you see something that seems like it's sensationalized, do some research. Take your time, research it. Don't just use one source for your news, especially not social media.
I mean, just a quick Google search. Just pause and say, wow, this is kind of strange. Is this true? And then check it out. Okay.
Yeah. Or ask your AI bot to give you some sources.
Some sources, some clarity.
Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got.
Me too. If you would like to support this podcast, tell a friend and help get the word out.
If you want to help us keep the show going, you can do so by taking advantage of some of our sponsors or at Patreon. Either way it goes, all of those links are in the show notes.
And as always, William and I want to thank you for listening
Yes, thank you. You are what keeps us going.
and join the Facebook group at Info on the Go
Over there, you can share with us your show ideas.
or ask us a question.
But whatever you do, make sure you hit that follow button wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
Hey, leaving a review really does help others find us, and Kat and I want to say thank you if you do.
Yeah.
But you can also email us directly at,
Info on the Go podcast at gmail.com.
and you can find that link in the show notes. Till next time.
Stay curious.
Every morning starts with a choice. Don't settle for just coffee. Rise up with strong coffee. Meet the world's strongest cup of joe. Strong isn't just a drink, it's a movement. And strong stands for striving to reach our natural greatness.
Born from one simple need to be better. They rebuilt coffee from the ground up, infusing organic coffee with collagen, protein, nootropics, and functional ingredients that fuel your body and sharpen your mind. There's no crash, no compromises, just clean energy, focus, and flavor that fires you up.
Whether you're chasing kids, chasing goals, or chasing greatness, don't just wake up, rise up. Strong coffee, the world's strongest cup of joe, for a world ready to be better.
Use code INFOGO at checkout to save 15%.